14 years. Last year made it 14 years that I've been a father, and learned so much in that time. If you're watching this and you're a father and you want to be a good dad, right? You want to be maybe a better father to your kids than your father might have been to you, and you're wondering, how do I do this? For me, the starting point was wanting to give my kids something that I did not have. While I still have a relationship with my father, there were periods in my life when I was in my early teens up until when I was always in my mid-20s where my father wasn't physically present in my life. And as a result of that, there were knock-on effects. There were consequences of that. It created, now that I'm older, I realized that period of time where he wasn't there, it created a void. And these are things that I'm still working on even till today. Just in terms of, mentorship and guidance and being nurtured and being, taught how to become a man, how to navigate life, how to stay out of trouble, things of that nature. And just that understanding of what it means to be a father and be there for your kids and raise your kids. I never really saw that mirrored. And so, but one thing I did know is that when I started having kids, I wanted to be for them something that was different from what I had, something better than what I had, because we can't perpetuate the cycle. And I didn't want them to miss out on fulfilling their potential as human beings because they didn't have the proper leadership. And so what I went after was making sure that I gave them, or I became for them, what I wish I had, right, in terms of fatherhood. I don't know if that makes sense. So I just wanted to be intentional in the role that I played in their lives, which meant that it's sacrificial because, as a man, you want to be out there, you want to go out, you want to make money, you want to conquer the world. But what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and not just lose his soul, but lose his family in the process, right? A lot of us as men, we're tunnel visioned and we want to make it, we want to be successful, we want to make money in the name of we want to provide for our family. And you should do those things because your family does need you to be a provider. But provision is more than just money. It's more than just finances. Provision is also providing them with your time, with your presence, with your knowledge, with guidance, with wisdom, right? With mentorship. That's all part of provision. And a lot of times we focus solely on the financial aspect of provision and we're not present for these children. And what the children are going to remember isn't so much the money you gave them, but the time you gave them, how involved you were in their life. Were you there for them when they needed somebody to talk to? Were you there for them when they had big decisions to make? Not even necessarily big decisions, but in terms of their education, and maybe they need to pick subjects for school for the next grade they're going into. Are you involved in that process? Do they get that sense that, yeah, dad is there for me, he cares about me? Do you hang out with them? Like, just hang out, just chill with them, take them for ice cream, take them to the park, and just get time to build that father-child relationship? Some of us never really had that because I guess maybe, the older generation didn't know. I won't even blame the older generation because some of them knew, but to others it wasn't maybe a priority. But we know the impact of, how that affected us throughout life, not having that. I never had someone take me to basketball games. I never had somebody, see like the gifts in me and like just push me to make sure that I excelled and became the best. A lot of time I had to be self-motivated, right? In my decision making about career and college and things like that, I pretty much made those decisions by myself. Whereas if I had that leadership, I could have made better decisions that could have put me in a different trajectory in life. And as I became a father and had my own kids, that's what I tried to become for them. You know, and if you're watching this as a father, maybe you're a new father, or you're just trying to navigate, trying to be a good father. Maybe because, like me, you felt like, you don't want to repeat some of the mistakes, and you don't want to, again, no shade to my dad, but I'm not trying to repeat his mistakes, right? I'm trying to do better so that my kids can have better, so they can produce better. And so that the quality of the lives of the next generation can be better. If we continue the same mistakes, then the cycle is going to continue. Lack of leadership, lack of protection, lack of provision. It slows you down in life. It slows you down. I've seen people who have had active parenting in their lives, whose parents and fathers were actively involved in mentoring and guiding and helping to shape their lives and destinies. And I've seen their trajectory. So it matters a lot. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. It matters a lot. But a lot of times we're in a position where we're trying to give something that we never had, and we're trying to become something that we didn't see. But for me, it started just by acknowledging what I knew I missed out on. The roles that I felt my dad should have played that he wasn't there to play. I had to identify what those were and then make a decision that I'm going to the best of my ability, play that role for my kids. So it means being there for them. It means talking to them, finding out what they're interested in, just hanging out with them. When they're down, they can cry. I give them a hug and talk to me. I have girls, so, you have to bring out your soft side, not just shouting all the time. Being there for them, being somebody they can lean on emotionally, but also at the same time being firm and instilling in them the family values. This is what our family accepts, and this is what our family doesn't accept. And other kids may be doing all this madness and things that are not in line with our family values outside, but that's them. In this house, this is what we stand for. So teaching, instilling those principles in them, and just helping to shape them to become wholesome and healthy people that contribute to the world in a positive way. Being intentional in being that for them. Going to hospital appointments, going to school, when they have activities in school, be it a concert or they're involved in extracurricular activities, sports, swimming, karate, gymnastics, whatever it is, be there. Take them to these things. Let them see daddy when they're swimming. Let them see daddy when they're performing. That does something for a child. Knowing that my dad has my back. My dad is there for me. He's there to support me. He's championing and cheerleading, and that does something for you mentally as a child. And when you don't have that, you might not feel it as a child, but the older you get, the more you start to realize, damn, I needed that as a kid. And that's where it really starts. It's hard to be something for your kids that you never had, but you're going to have to be. I'm going to have to be, and that's the journey that I'm on. Making sure that I'm the best father I can be for my children, making sacrifices for them. A lot of times we want to pursue money, pursue career, pursue status. But what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his family, not just his soul? If you're a success in the eyes of the world, but your kids can't stand you because you were never there for them, and because you never prioritized them or put them first, and you don't have a relationship with them, then what good is your wealth? What good is your success if you're a failure at home? So I'm begging you, and also encouraging you, let's be intentional. That's why the name of this channel is The Intentional Dad. Let's be intentional in the way we're raising these kids, so that we raise great kids that are a positive influence in the world. I see kids that are growing up either without a father figure or an unintentional dad who's physically present but emotionally absent. And I'm seeing how these kids are turning out, and a lot of them are lost because no one is instilling principles in them. No one is speaking positively into them and helping to shape and bring out the potential in them and helping to guide them and navigate life and put them on the right path. And some parents are just letting their kids do whatever they want and get away with anything. Loving your kids doesn't mean you can't be firm. Loving your kids doesn't mean you can't correct them. Loving your kids doesn't mean letting them get away with everything. Loving your kids doesn't mean that you're their friend and you can't tell them the truth. There's a time to be a friend and there's a time to be firm. Because at the end of the day, we're talking about their destiny, and we don't want them falling short of their destiny and falling short of what they're capable of because we refuse to give them the right type of leadership. Anyways, I'm going to cut it off there for now. There's so much more to be said. But to become a good dad, one of the starting points is just deciding that you're going to give them better than what you had. And then striving for that and striving to be intentional in the way you're raising them. And most of all, if nothing else, be present. Be present. Be there. Be physically there. And then when you're there, be there. Not there, you're distracted. They're trying to talk to you. You're not listening. You're shooing them up. No, be there. Create time for them to let them know Daddy's there for me. And when I need Dad, he shows up for me. He loves me. He supports me. He's going to listen to me. He's going to have my back. And he's going to whoop me when I need to be whooped. But they will know that the whooping is out of love, not because you're whooping, because they know you're not whooping all the time. So even if you do whoop, they know it's because it's out of love and you're trying to correct a bad behavior. But if all you do is whoop and shout and you never actually nurture, then they're going to think you're mean and a monster. But anyway, I'll see you in the next video.